Hi everybody, welcome and thanks to 121 for hosting this event and for allowing Rainbow to present. So, usual disclaimer. So I'm talking about rare earths, the rare earth project, and the Chinese decided 30 years ago that they're going to corner this market, and that was a statement made in 1992. And as you know, they've actually done that, and the whole world's looking for strategic sources of rare earths outside of China, and to build a rare earth value chain outside of China. We currently have two projects. One in Burundi, which has been in trial mining for a couple of years, successfully producing a high-grade rare earth concentrate, which we export to China, and then we've also got the Phalaborwa Project here in South Africa, which I'll talk to you. But as you can see with current pricing, both the baskets of both our projects are far outstripping the long-term price forecast for NdPr, and we expect that to continue. So I won't talk about the macro because everyone understands the macro and how good it is, and we can't see it changing in the foreseeable future. To talk about Palabora now, Palabora is a very, very unique project. We've got two stacks, gypsum residue stacks at Palabora, which was created from hard rock mining by Phoscore mine hard rock, phosphate rock. There's then concentrated into slurry and went next door to a phosphoric acid production plant owned by Sasol. Sasol then the phosphoric went through 3 stages of production, and the residue was a gypsum, and the gypsum residue was pumped onto 2 stacks, and we've got about 40 million tons of gypsum residue with the rare earth elements present in the gypsum stacks. And what makes this unique is that if you compare Palabora to ionic clay deposits, we're about 8 to 10 times higher grade. And the reason why I compare to ionic clay deposits is because ionic clays, you got very, very low mining costs, free digging, or you just wash the mud literally into a sluice and into the process plant. And at Palabora, we'll be doing a very similar thing. We'll be hydraulically mining, and we'll be washing the gypsum into a channel, into a screen, and then into our process plant. Another thing about Palabora, which made it very interesting when I looked at it initially, was that the basket was made up of 29.1% NdPr, which is one of the highest rare earth grade baskets in the world. So various projects average about Mountain Pass has only got 15.5% NdPr. In Palabora, we've got 29.1, as I said. Something like Linus has got about 22% NdPr. So 29%, it's one of the highest baskets in the world of any rare earth project out there. And also we've got significant dysprosium and terbium credits, which add significantly to our revenue stream. We also sit in the middle of a mining town, which is called Palabora. We've got skilled labor force on our doorstep. We've got OEMs, suppliers on our doorstep, and we've got massive infrastructure. We're literally 5 kilometers from the center of town. And very importantly, next door, we've got Palabora Mining Company, which has just commissioned a new sulfuric acid plant, and they're going to have about 10,000 tons a month of sulfuric acid waste they have to get rid of, and we'll be using it right next door. We'll be able to take it right next door. Just to footprint both our projects against some of the other projects out there, very importantly, as I said, when you look at it in terms of ionic clay deposits, we're very, very high grade. And very importantly, very low levels of uranium and thorium. So we've got a totally benign stack site, and our NdPr is very high in relation to our uranium and thorium. Look at Gakara at the bottom, which we're mining an average of 12.5 to 13.5% TREO. NdPr is very, very high because of our grade, but also very low in uranium and thorium. So both our projects don't have any problems with uranium and thorium compared to some of the other projects that are out there in the world that have a big problem having to have circuits to remove the uranium and thorium. You look at Linus, Linus have a big problem now. They have to move out of Malaysia because of their radioactive material. So I think it's a very big plus for Palabora as well. Because the gypsum sits in these 2 stacks, and because it went through this phosphoric acid production process, and your 2 key ingredients of producing phosphoric acid or sulfuric acid and heat, that's led to the gypsum being in cracked chemical form on our stacks. So all those processes that other projects have to go through have been taken care of for us at Palabora. In other words, the mining, while we're mining it under $1 a ton to wash the gypsum into our process plant. We've got no crushing, we've got no milling, we've got no flotation, we've got no reagents before you produce a rare earth concentrate. Then you have to crack your concentrate. And as I said, that takes a lot of acid, sulfuric acid, and a lot of heat. So we start with a cracked chemical concentrate on our stacks. And that's why Sasol ran a pilot plant which produced 3 tons of a mixed rare earth carbonate. So we knew we could extract the rare earths out of the gypsum. It had been done by Sasol in their pilot plant about 10 years ago. And the sulfuric acid plant was mothballed. And when Sasol were looking at the rare earths in their gypsum, they were chasing different rare earths to what everyone's chasing today, which is neodymium, praseodymium. No one was looking at those 2 elements. That was the biggest makeup of the basket of any value today, is those 2 key elements, whereas in Sasol's day, they didn't have the value they've got today. So when you compare this project to other projects, you'll see why we believe we're going to have a very, very low capital requirement for this project and very low OPEX, and we'll be in the lowest cost quartile, if not the lowest cost producer out there. Now move on to Burundi very quickly. Burundi is a very also high grade deposit. When I took over, as I said, they were mining it the way the Belgians mined it, artisanal mining on steroids with a bit of yellow kit. I changed the mining method, more conventional mining, bought 2 fleets, and was able to turn the operation around. When in June last year, we became cash flow positive, and we were looking forward to using the positive cash flow from Burundi to fund the ongoing work that needed to be done in Burundi, which is drill out the area correctly, properly, and do proper feasibility studies on Burundi, which weren't done when I took over. And we were suspended mining by the government in June last year. And they suspended all the mining companies in Burundi. It wasn't just Rainbow. And they wanted to renegotiate the mining convention. And they made some allegations that we were mispricing our concentrate, we're under-declaring the concentrate grade. Well, the World Bank did a report with SRK, with the independent consultants. It confirmed that everything Rainbow does is 100% legit, and was signed off by the Burundi government in 2020 and accepted by the Minister of Mines. So basically, it doesn't hold any water. We were invited back to Burundi just last week. I got back from Burundi, and we've been asked to look at re-exporting our concentrate and look at resuming mining operations. So I think we're nearing the end of our impasse in Burundi, which is where we're going to restart mining fairly soon. And on resumption of operations, our stockpile sitting in Burundi will finance the resumption of mining operations in Burundi. It won't be a drain on the general G&A. And I've got $350,000 of kit sitting in the port, which is we're going to use to optimize the pilot plant there. It's only a pilot plant operation in Burundi, but that pilot plant will be, as I said, once we've done the optimization, will be able to let us hit 200 tons of concentrate production per month out of Burundi, which will lead us to be very cash flow generative in Burundi, which will fund all the drilling and all the feasibility work that I need to do in Burundi to prove it's as big an asset as we think it is. But it's really a cherry on the top. Palabora is always going to be about 8 to 10 times the size of Burundi in terms of revenue, and that's where our focus is getting finalizing the flow sheet at Palabora and then completing our feasibility study in the next quarter, and then we'll go straight into a bankable on Palabora. But having a lot of experience in building mines throughout the African continent, and I built a mine in Mexico for Pearl when I was running MDM engineering, and we were doing the uranium work for Berkeley in Spain. We understand feasibility work, the team and I, who I pulled out of MDM engineering, and I believe we've got the technical team to deliver our project at Palabora. Just to show you, Burundi was when I took over, pre-2020, and latest operations when we were suspended, as you can see for itself, that tells the story. So we've got 2 world-class scalable projects. We've got country risk and project diversification, and we believe we've got a very, very good ESG project at Palabora. Thank you.